A cold breeze rolled through the early morning silence of Willow Creek as Ethan Miller stood on his small front porch, staring blankly at the empty coffee mug in his hand. At 32, he looked older than he should have. Sleep-deprived eyes, unshaven cheeks, and the constant slump of a man who carried too much alone. Being a single dad to his 7-year-old daughter, Harper, had taught him resilience, but it had also carved loneliness into the edges of his life. He wasn't expecting anything unusual that morning, until the door next to his swung open. Olivia Parker stepped outside, stretching her arms overhead, her long auburn hair tumbling down her back. She was his new neighbor, recently moved into the townhouse beside his. Ethan had only spoken to her once during move-in week, but he remembered her warm smile, and the spark in her hazel eyes he tried not to think about. This morning, however, his attempt to look casual failed miserably, because Olivia was wearing a loose off-shoulder sweatshirt that dipped dangerously low on one side, revealing the curve of her collarbone and a glimpse of a tattoo trailing over her shoulder. Ethan's gaze flickered, just for a second, before he yanked his eyes away, mortified. But she noticed. Of course she did. A slow, teasing smile crept onto her lips. "If you want to look," she said lightly, leaning against her railing. "Just ask." Ethan froze. Heat shot up his neck, and he nearly dropped his mug. I wasn't looking," he stammered, nearly choking on his words. "Well, I mean, not like that. I'm sorry." Olivia laughed gently, not mocking, just amused. "Relax, Ethan. I'm kidding." But he didn't relax. If anything, her playful tone made his heart race harder. He cleared his throat, trying to recover. "I'm, gonna get Harper ready for school." "Of course," she said, with a softer smile this time. "Have a good morning." He hurried back inside, but her voice lingered in his head all day. Olivia Parker was not used to neighbors. In Los Angeles, she had lived in a building where no one even made eye contact. Moving to a small town was supposed to be temporary, a quiet place to reset her life after a painful breakup and the loss of her job in the same month. But she didn't expect her neighbor to be Ethan. There was something about him, something steady, gentle, something lonely, and maybe that was what drew her. A week later, their paths crossed again. This time at the grocery store, Harper spotted Olivia first. "Miss Olivia," she squealed, racing over. Harper had instantly liked her neighbor during their brief introduction the day she moved in. Olivia bent down with a bright grin. "Hey, superstar." Ethan arrived moments later, slightly out of breath. "Sorry about that. She runs faster than physics should allow." "Oh, please," Olivia laughed. "She's adorable." While Harper skipped toward the cereal aisle, Ethan glanced awkwardly at Olivia. "About the other day. I know you were joking, but I hope I didn't make you uncomfortable." "You didn't," she said, her gaze steady. "Honestly, you looked more embarrassed than I was." He chuckled nervously. "That's fair." When Harper reappeared, arms full of sugary cereal boxes Ethan never approved of, Olivia leaned closer and whispered, "I used to do the same thing to my dad. It's a daughter thing." He smiled, a real one this time. "I'm guessing he didn't win that battle either." "Nope, not once." For the first time in months, Ethan felt light. Days turned into weeks. Small conversations turned into longer ones, on porches, at mailboxes, walking inside from the parking lot. Harper became the bridge between them, always inviting Olivia into moments she didn't expect. One Saturday, Harper tugged Olivia's hand. "Come see my drawings." "Harper?" Ethan began, embarrassed. "It's okay," Olivia said quickly. "I'd love to." Inside, Ethan panicked. His living room looked like a tornado of toys, laundry, and half-eaten snacks. "I swear it's not usually this messy," he said. "It's a home," Olivia replied with a warm shrug. "Messy means loved." Something in that sentence hit him harder than he expected. They sat with Harper for over an hour, admiring childish doodles and listening to her grand plans of becoming a famous space artist astronaut. Olivia listened like every word mattered. Ethan noticed. He noticed everything. How gentle she was, how patient, how naturally she fit into spaces he hadn't realized were empty. But he didn't allow himself to think deeper. Because deep meant dangerous. Deep meant something he wasn't sure he deserved. That changed the night Harper fell sick, got a sudden fever, vomiting, shaking. Ethan panicked, pacing the living room with his daughter in his arms. His fingers trembled as he tried to call the clinic. Then, knocking, Olivia. Her eyes widened when she saw Harper. "What's wrong?" I don't know," Ethan said, voice cracking. "Her fever jumped so fast. Give her to me. Come on." She moved with startling confidence. Cool hands, calm voice. "I used to nanny through college," she explained. "Harper will be okay. But we need to get her seen tonight." She drove them to urgent care, sat beside them in the waiting room, held Harper's hand when Ethan felt he couldn't breathe. She was there through the tests, the doctor's reassurance that it was only a viral infection. When they finally returned home at 2 a.m., Harper sleeping peacefully in Ethan's arms, he turned to Olivia and whispered, "Thank you for everything." She touched his shoulder gently. "You don't have to do everything alone, Ethan." He swallowed hard. "I'm used to being alone. You don't have to stay that way." Their eyes held. A quiet, trembling intensity filled the space between them. But Ethan broke the moment first. "Good night, Olivia. Good night," she whispered, disappointment flickering briefly in her eyes. The next morning, Ethan knocked on her door. Not with embarrassment, not with avoidance, but with intention. Olivia opened the door, hair messy, wearing one of those loose sweatshirts that had gotten him in trouble weeks ago. He exhaled shakily. "I owe you more than a thank you." "You don't owe me anything," she replied. "I care about you too. That's all." He stepped closer. "That's the thing. Care too. More than I've let myself admit." Her breath caught. "Ethan, I'm scared," he confessed. "Of messing up. Of Harper getting attached. Of losing someone again." Olivia's expression softened. "Being scared means you're human. But running from something good? That's the real mistake." He looked at her for a long, unbroken moment. "Can we try?" he whispered. Slowly, carefully, together. Olivia's smile was soft, radiant, full of relief. "I'd like that." But then she stepped closer, teasing spark returning to her eyes. "And Ethan? Yeah. If you want to look this time," she tilted her head playfully, "you really can just ask." He laughed. A warm, full laugh he hadn't felt in years, and for the first time. He didn't look away, he looked directly at her. Openly, honestly, and she smiled like she'd been waiting for it in that quiet hallway, under soft morning light. Something new and hopeful began. Something worth fighting for. Something worth healing for. Something neither of them needed to hide from anymore, and for Ethan, it was the first time in a long time he felt the truth deeply. He wasn't alone. Not anymore.